Okay, so this is next phase of the engine build. We're going to be assembling our pistons as well. So to start off basically with this one, I've added the one snap ring inside there. So that's basically this guy over here. As you saw us here that we balanced up. That one basically goes on the inside. There you can see it right there. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to start adding our rings on. So we're first going to do our oil rings, second compression ring, followed by the top compression ring. So let me quickly get that ready and we can get on top of that. Okay, so to start with, we have our piston on here, put the ring on there. So the reason I'm doing this before I'm adding on the conrod is because this is going to be flopping around as you're doing this, so we don't want to do too much of that. Okay, so we have our ring on there, and then we can have another one. So these have a minimum oil clearance spec, ring gap spec of 0.015 inches. So 1.5 thousand of an inch, yeah, 15 thousandths of an inch. That's the correct spec. So when we're going to do this, we're going to look for our ring gap, which is over there. Now you don't want your ring gap to be across the piston here, because one of the other cars I used to go way back, this whole thing just pulled out into the bore there, and it just was scraping on things. So we don't want to do that. We're gonna move it to this area here, and then alternatively we're going to move that over to the other side over here. Trying to watch where I'm filming while doing what I'm doing. So here's the ring up there, so it's kind of like pinched in there. You don't really want it to get all messed up there, so keep that in line there. We have our ring gap over here. Move the ring gap to a different placement over there, right? Then bottom ring gap's going to go at the bottom end there. Bottom end there. Let's get that in there. Top gap is there. We're going to go for the gap on this side. So your oil rings are relatively easy to work with. They're very open, not very thick. They're just there to scrape the oil off the board, getting it out of the combustion chamber. So I'll ring gap over there, ring gap over here, adjust that a little bit. Okay, so that's now on a flat area there, not the working surface. There, flat area over there, not on a working surface. Yeah, there. So that's about opposites of each other. So let's look at what the manual says. I'm just going to put this down there. Also, again, don't work on your desk. Don't work on engine block. Work on your desk. So oil ring gap over here, bottom one there. Compression ring, top oil ring gap. So they did it that way. I'll probably run it differently on that. But yeah, so when in doubt, you can do that. So I don't think the oil ring is that important to run with on that. But we have our oil rings on there so we can do our second compression ring, which is this guy over here. Noting the positioning, you've got a little ridge there. So again, you'll be referring to your manual about which side of the ridge it has to go. But this one goes to the ridge down. Let me just confirm that, because this is important. Ring gap, oil rail groove. They don't really say anything about that from what I can see. Top ring, second nav dots. Okay, so has dot installed, dot side up. That's straightforward, easy enough. There is our dots on the other side. There's our dot. That's what we're going to be looking for. Drop them on the second part. Again, they say something. So here we can actually use our ring compressor, piston ring compression tool. I normally do it by hand because I kind of want to feel the tension in the ring. So we're just going to use this one for now. Little piston ring pliers. Get those in there. I got them specifically for this because normally I don't use these, but yeah, probably better to use them. And that's going to extend your rings out. So working this, that, being careful to not damage your rings. don't like the feeling of that. Let's do it by hand. Let's get over, stretch it, and then I bust the ring, because the ring is sitting too far in, so I have to over stretch the ring to get it in, and I just don't like the feeling of that. It's just not sitting right for me. So yeah, we're going to get our second ring. So normally you'd use a position like that, spread the ring open, get it into where she needs to be. And again, be careful because they are a brittle material. You don't want to be breaking piston rings. Gently slot that in place. So that is our second compression ring on that position. So we have our oil ring gap over here, top oil ring gap over there, second compression ring bottom left on the side over there. So there's our oil gap there. We're going to go for the top ring in this position. This one is symmetrical, so it doesn't matter which way it's up or down. We'll move the piston to the position that you normally want to put the ring on. I suppose you can just rotate the ring as well. Sliding over. Overslid it down a little bit. Just slot her in place. And there we have our piston ring. So arrow pointing towards the front of the engine, exhaust side, intake side, and then we're basically going to work on getting our rod on there. So I'm going to grab our rod on here, slide it in there. Also remember we said we want this to face the front, so we're going to be doing it like that. Snap rings on that side, so but we'll do this over the desk. So I'll hold this over here. Hopefully I won't drop this while doing a demonstration. That'll slide in place. Should lubricate that because that now hasn't gone in straight. So to give you an idea, that's probably how it's going to slide in like that. And then we're going to get our snap ring in there to hold her in place. Now, funny enough, I don't have the tool here to get these off, so I'll have to get that from work, bring it in, and then do this on another video. We'll do the bearings and everything on that, and then check that all of that works in our favor. So we're going to get the snap ring in there. Just going to give some of these engine lubrications on there, but I will do that when I assemble or install the piston into the engine. We're not going to do that now because I don't have the proper things to do this, and I don't want to have oil on the exposed metal components, and don't want to drop this in without it being properly lubricated. So I hope that helps, guys. If you guys are ever assembling pistons, relatively straightforward process. Obviously we're going to repeat that for all 5 cylinders. With these ones, like I say, I don't like putting the rings in here because as you basically pull that in there, the ring's going to slide further out, and then you have to like overextend it to get it on. These are just cheap, they're cheap pliers, so they're not really gonna, I just didn't like the feeling of that causing when getting forces on there. We will work with piston installation probably next when we do the bearings and that, but I think that's going to be it for today for piston assembly and installation.